Hi, welcome back kids. This is the unofficial sequel to my first video, how to improve your mental health and deal with anxiety. And in this one I'm going to talk about the aftermath. So if you haven't seen the first video, I recommend watching it before this one. So first off, a little life update. So yeah, since the first video, I've been able to go back to school and I've nearly fully recovered. I mean, so much so, my psychologist told me that I might be her client that recovered the fastest in her 16 years of work, and I'm very proud of that. But something feels off. I've had difficulty, finding enjoyment in anything basically. I feel kind of numb, half dead, half alive. But I mean, I haven't even been able to start exercise consistently again. It hurts doing what I love, but it also hurts not doing it. I mean, lately it feels like I've been indulging in instant gratification as a sort of intermediary. But there's still this voice in the back of my head that aches me to get back to what I love doing. It just feels like I'm too tired. Even the trick of, start doing a task and eventually you'll end up finishing it doesn't work. It's like I don't have any life left in me. So I ended up talking to my psychologist a couple of days ago, and she told me it was kind of normal. She explained that after dealing with big mental loads, there's often, a time where you're exhausting for a good while after. And that coupled with the fact that I'm currently on anxiolytics. Basically, in her words, she said that when you're in the thick of it, pun not intended, um, your system and emotions are at their peak. So everything is very intense. And even if the anxiolytics, lower the anxiety, they also lower everything else. So when it's at the peak, you don't really notice it. But when it starts to lower down, you do start to feel it. So, yeah, this is why if you're in my position and you're just coming out of this big event, you might end up feeling tired and somewhat numb and maybe irritable in my case. So, here's a list of advice she gave me and things I do to get back on track. So, the first thing that she mentioned to me was that now that the crisis was over, I could talk to my pharmacist about slowly starting to lower the dose of anxiolytics. And while I might wait personally a bit before doing that, if you feel like it's the right time, you could talk to your pharmacist about starting the process. One approach I decided to take was one step at a time. So, since my energy levels are too low, I don't try to do as much as I did. But I do keep that mentality of something is better than nothing. So, for example, I started off doing push ups and then I moved up to variations. And last week, I was able to set up my stuff and do 3 sets of 2 exercises. So, in total, 6 sets. Same thing for my channel. I started off with, a bit every day, and I ended up being able to do full hours. The key is to do something, no matter how small. And once you're comfortable doing it, you increase the intensity of it. So it's normal that as it goes on, it takes more and more time to get back. And that's because every time, you're setting a harder and harder goal for yourself. Just take your time and trust your senses. You have to be able to differentiate between what's healthy and what's unhealthy. I know right now it might seem daunting. You've just come out of a big crisis and you're burnt out. And, going back to a healthy life might feel like an impossible climb. But like every big goal, you have to divide it in parts. And keep in mind the reason you're doing it. When stuff starts getting hard, I have to remind myself that I do it for my future family, for the ones who need help, and for my future self. Finally, you have to remember that life isn't always hard. This period might be hard, but that's because the next one will be good. There isn't happiness without pain, because pain makes you enjoy the moments of joy. It works as a sort of contrast. So, every time you have a hard period, take a moment to enjoy it, because it makes the moments of joy so much more meaningful. Appreciate this hard period while it lasts, and take it as a challenge to get over. When you've eventually come out of the hard mental period and dealt with the aftermath, what can stop you then? You've dealt with the hardest. Now, take it easier. I trusted you first time, and you pulled through. I still trust you, so trust yourself.